Yeah. Miracles come while we in the fight. Don't give up and hold him tight. You will have a visible battle scar, but never forget who you are and fight, fight, fight.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. And if you've been watching me for the past 30 plus, almost 40 episodes, because this is episode 40, um, then you know exactly what Embracing the Fight is all about. It's about normalizing conversations surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. And I have been sharing, my thyroid cancer journey. I've also been inviting people on to talk about their personal journey and the fight that they're embracing. But I wanted to take some time to step back and go back to my thyroid cancer journey. Why? Because last week was my personal new year. It was my birthday. September the 26th was my birthday. And that was the day before my glow day process actually started. And people say, well, what's a glow day? I refer to it as a glow day because I would be administered a high dose of radioactive iodine. And if you get a black light and you shine it on me, I'll actually be glowing because of, the radioactivity that my body is actually, emitting. So that process actually started on September the 27th. And the first thing that I had to do was actually go into the office, sit down and talk with the nuclear medical technologist. And they actually, took blood. And the reason that they took some blood from me is because they had to run, various labs. And one that they kept saying, over and over that we absolutely have to be, sure about is that you're not pregnant. I was like, oh, well, just had my period. They were like, it doesn't matter. We're going to take your blood every day the next 3 days so that we can run, a pregnancy test on it. So they do, the pregnancy test. And then they also draw blood to, kind of see, I guess, the thyroid levels, the thyroid hormone levels, in my body because I didn't have to not take the levothyroxine for 30 days. Instead, they gave me 2 shots. And those shots basically took down, the thyroid levels in those 2 days rather than me walking around, feeling like a zombie. And I recommend that you do that, if your insurance allows you to do that because most people out here, when you do the 30 days, you don't feel like yourself. You're tired, you're exhausted, you're fatigued, and you just don't feel like doing anything. And who wants to, struggle through that for 30 days when you could just get 2 little shots and then on the third day, you get your high dose of the radioactive iodine. All right, so that was day one, and then they talked to me about day two. So I'm sitting here saying, okay, got the first shot, and they do it on either side, either cheek, I should say. They they inject you in the buttocks, one side one day, one side the next day, and this is to take your thyroid levels down. And it didn't hurt. It didn't feel like much, it's just like, okay, it's a shot, whatever. And then the next day when I came in, they did the same thing. They took the blood. But this time, when they took the blood, they said, okay, we're going to give you a low dose of radioactive iodine. And what this low dose will be used for, you'll come back in 6 to 8 hours, preferably 6 hours, I think they said. But anyway, you'll come back and we'll do a full scan, of your body to see what glows basically. And whatever glows is letting you know that this is where, the thyroid cells have migrated to, and these are potential sites of where the cancer has moved to. So, I was pretty, interested to see, what that was all about. So on Thursday when I went in, of course, they took the blood and they said, okay, you're not pregnant, so now we can give you, this low dose of radioactive iodine. And they come out, it's in a cute little container and everything, and I'm trying to reach. He's like, no, 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 don't touch it. just put it directly into your mouth and drink it. You know, not drink it, but drink some water behind it. Because once you touch it, it's already trying to, absorb, and you won't get the maximum benefit if you don't just go ahead and put it in your mouth and, let it start dispersing itself throughout your body. So do that. And then he's like, okay, come back I think I had to be back at like 2 o'clock. So I had to leave around 12:30, 12:45, looking at the traffic to make sure that I got there in time, because the longer that it's in your body and you don't go and look, or have a scan done, I'm not sure, how effective the results are, but you should come back in a finite amount of time. So don't be one of these people that's late to everything. This is very important that you get back at the time they tell you to get back. So when I got back there, they had already, early that morning, they had already given me the other shot in the left cheek to get rid of the thyroid hormone. And all this while, I was still taking the levothyroxine. And now I go in and I lay on the table, and mind y'all, I am claustrophobic, but I'm not. I think it's another term. It's called claustrophobic, where I'm not, really bothered by, say, like cars because they're small on the inside, or elevators or anything like that. It's going into like confined spaces where you can't move and you're like closed in. So it's not necessarily claustrophobic, but it's more claustrophobic. But either way, I was like, look, is this thing open or what? And he was like, oh, that's it right there. And I'm looking at it, oh, okay, that's not bad. And I was able to do it without, having a panic attack. So that was good in itself. Well, anyway, I'm laying there and, I just hear it, and all of a sudden I'm asleep because it's scanning, my whole body. And then he wakes me up to let me know that they're going to scan, just my neck and everything. And then I would have the opportunity to speak with the doctor the next day. And, we got all my information together, and he was like, okay, tomorrow, just make sure that you have all of your plastic forks, spoons, knives, cups and things like that. And he gave me a sheet, and the sheet, let me see, look like this. And it basically, is giving you instructions. It's telling you stuff that you absolutely need to and have to do, because once you take this radioactive iodine, you're not supposed to be around anyone, and especially not anyone that is pregnant or any like small children, because this can have a very negative effect on them. And I'm a bit of a science nerd in a sense, because what he told me is that they would measure, how much radioactivity I'm actually, emitting after, I take this pill. I'm like, oh, you don't have a little device. I'm like, well, if that's the case, how are you avoiding, being affected by me? And he was like, oh, well, we got this little Geiger counter on me that tells, how much I've actually been exposed to. And once you get to a certain limit, that's pretty much it. You can't be around or do anything, like this for a while. And I was just like, okay, that's pretty interesting, because I remember having that same, device on me when I worked at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. And that was just for, a summer when I was in college. But either way, I remember that, and I was just like, oh, that's pretty neat. So anyway, the third day when I'm there, I'm sitting there, and he comes over with a tungsten container. And inside of this tungsten container, there's this, radioactive pill. And he tells me that it is, I think it's about 168 millicuries. And I'm like, man, that's a lot. That was a very high dose. And, after he told me all the things that I needed to do, he went over it again. So again, we looked at his sheet, and the sheet basically says that once you take this pill, you can't be within 6 feet of anyone. They showed me the route that I would have to take to get out of the hospital to avoid people. And then if I started to get near people, that I was supposed to wait, and stand away 6 feet or so away from these people, especially if they were women or children, because you can't look at a woman and really tell if she's pregnant or not, right? So you take the precaution of staying, away from them. But he also talked about, you get home, make sure that you try to stay in one room if, you live with other people. But see, that's not, my deal. But I wanted to keep it confined to one room anyway, because I'm like, do I need to be jumping from room to room anyway, spreading radioactivity? Probably not. So um, make sure that you use the same toothbrush, towel, pajamas, sheets, things of that nature, because what happens is after it's over, you have to take those items, the toothbrush, of course, you have to throw it away. But the clothes and the bed linen and the towels, you have to put them in a bag, put them in your garage for 8 days. That way, the radioactivity leaves those items. You take them and you wash them like regular and you put them back. And I was like, well, okay, why do you have to get rid of the toothbrush? And he explained to me that the saliva is where the majority of the radioactive iodine, where it's actually leaving from. And it's like bodily fluid. So think about it. You have saliva, once you swallow it, it comes out, as urine. But if you're brushing your teeth, you know, you have it on this toothbrush. And every time you put the toothbrush back in, you're introducing it, back, to your mouth. So as soon as your 48 hours are up, you're supposed to throw, the toothbrush away. So, okay, great. I get that. So another thing he told me, which I was really happy about, because during this entire time, since July, I've had to follow this low, iodine diet. And of course, I lost a little weight, lost about, 10, 15 pounds or whatever. But I'm going to say that I like food. I like the way the food tastes. And I'll probably get it back. Probably shouldn't be saying this out loud, but I have a problem. I like food and it tastes good, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, I had to follow this low iodine diet. And there's something, called red number 3 that's in a lot of candies and sweets and things like that I could not have. And what he said was, um, you have to have sour candies, because the sour candies, basically make you salivate. And the more you salivate, the more you get out of your system, the quicker, the faster, it happens for you in those 48 hours. So I was eating the mess out of some sour candies. Not even gonna lie, I probably ate 2, 3 bags of them. But anyway, um, he's explaining, all this to me at this point. And he also says that if I happen to get sick, because there's a possibility, that you could get nauseous, or say you're in a car accident, say, anything could happen. They give you a document that shows, how much radioactivity you're actually emitting per meter. And I was letting out 35, and it was like, what? That's a lot. And that was as soon as I had swallowed, this pill, because I took the pill and, dropped it in, and then I drank, water behind it. Mind you, I still didn't touch it. I took it straight from the container and put it in my mouth and drank the water. And he's over there with the little, I don't know what the apparatus is called, but there's some testing device that he's like scanning me with, and it's making noise. And I'm like, oh, I'm already, radioactive over here. So then he was like, you got any questions? I was like, no. He was like, okay, you got to go out the way that we discussed. Okay, so I'm walking down the hall. Nobody's there. Elevator opens, so I jump in the stairs. So I'm going down 3 flights of stairs. I get to the bottom. Before I open the door, I peep out. There's nobody in the hallway. But it seems like as soon as I went in the hallway, here come all these doctors and everything. So I'm like trying to scoop out the door. I get out the door, and what do I see? A lady and a little kid. So I go to the far side. I'm walking in the rocks, to get away from these people. And then I walk up the stairs in the parking garage. There's nobody there. And then I walk to my car, get in the car, drive out, pay for my parking, and I'm home free. And then, I get home, and it's like good and quiet here. And, all is well because I know I'm not going to be in contact with anyone for the next 48 hours. Okay, so I do that and I do it well. Well, after those 48 hours is up, I know that I can now have things that I like to eat. So I wanted some Italian food. I just was like, oh, I want something, that's got lots of cheese and lots of sauce and, all that. Everything tastes like baking soda. And they tell you that it might taste metallic, but I don't know of any metal that tastes like baking soda. This stuff tastes like pure baking soda. I don't care what I ate. If I drank water, it tastes like baking soda. I was putting all kinds of stuff on my tongue to try to get the taste off, and I was like, this is just not working. And that taste is still with me now, but it's not, as strong as it was on Sunday and Monday. But today, I'm getting closer to being able to taste things a little bit more. But I just want to give you an idea, of what this journey has been like with the radioactive iodine. Because today I met with my endocrinologist, and she went over everything and explained to me that I need to come back to her because they did some additional labs to see what my thyroid levels are now that I've had a radioactive iodine. She's also going to bring me back in to review the scan that I'm going to have that shows if there's any additional, thyroid cells that are living throughout my body that could potentially have the thyroid cancer. But initially, the radiologist said that he didn't see anything, abnormal. He didn't see anything within those margins. So he said that everything, looked fine to him. That was off the initial test. But he was like, look, the amount of radioactive iodine we've given you now is going to light up anything that's in there. Nothing will be able to hide. So you will know, for sure what you have going on. But I already claim it. I already say I'm 100% healed of thyroid cancer. I am ready to get back to feeling like myself. I am no longer going to feel fatigued. I'm no longer going to have these brain fogs and my hair falling out and my skin being extremely dry and being thirsty and having all these issues. All of that is gone, and I claim it right now. And if you are suffering from thyroid cancer and you're about to go to the radioactive iodine stage, know that you're at the end of the line, and there's no way but up from this point. And to all those out there that suffering with any form of cancer, just know that you can be healed from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. Believe, make sure that you're doing everything that you can to help yourself. Of course, I could tell you, to eat healthy, and I'm sitting here talking about Italian food, but the more that you eat from the earth, the more vitamins, the more water, the more exercise, the more good things that you do, for your body, helps your body to fight. It helps to build your immune system. So give yourself a fighting chance and do what's necessary. I mean, sometimes you got to say, no to the dessert. Sometimes you have to step back from spending hours and hours, in the sun, getting sunburned and giving yourself all this time under these harmful UV rays. And sometimes your hair doesn't have to look, 100% perfect. Let go of the chemical relaxers and the dyes and things of that nature. Because y'all see, I don't dye my hair anymore. You see my hair is not straight, but I am going to try to do a whole lot better. I know when it comes to my appearance, because some days I just don't feel, like going through all those steps. But at the same time, I need to do this for myself, because think about it. When you look better, you feel better, right? So I know I've been tired and I know I've been exhausted, and it's been going on for over 2 years. So it's time for me to be the best version of myself. And what better time than the present? That's how I'm going to celebrate, my year going forward. And with this season of Embracing the Fight, because I decided to start the season, right after my birthday. And this is going to be a season of healing, a season of power, and a season of strength. And I hope that you take the time to come out, watch Embracing the Fight, subscribe, like, share the channel. And heck, if you want to be on here and you want to speak life and you want to give us your testimony and you want to help someone else heal, by all means, reach out to me at operations at diversity designs. And we can get together and you can be on the show too. I would love to have you as a guest. But as always, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch Embracing the Fight. Have an absolutely amazing day.